Rent is due on the 1st of the month. Don't be late.
It is time to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home at last. Yes. As you can see, I got the light on me a little bit here. I'm trying to make sure my eyes look a little better. But, so today, we're here to talk about it. Spider-Man No Way Home. This is section 1 of the video. There'll be 3 sections. Section 1 will be the guest stars. So, as you can see by the title and the description, I have decided to feature a couple guest stars this time around. 2 guest stars, in fact, not just 1. If you watch my No Road to New Mutants on some of my older videos, I have featured people before, but never 2 people. And the reason is because I wanted to signify the 2 guests that were in this movie of Spider-Man No Way Home. So, without further ado, let me introduce you all Mr. Kaan from Kaan's Wonderful World. I forget his whole channel name, but yeah. He's here. He's here to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home with us. He's the Andrew Garfield of this video. Take it away, Andrew.
Holy crap! Mr. Negative does exist in the comics, not only for the PlayStation 4 game. Oh, hi Tater Master. I hope I spelled your name right, as your YouTube name. Anyway, thank you for inviting me for your video, and I'm excited to be on this video. So, I'd like to say about one thing about Spider-Man No Way Home. It is amazing, like one of the best superhero movies we ever got. Since Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, this movie goes to my favorite Spider-Man movie list. Actually, there's 3 lists. Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, not Spider-Man No Way Home. Anyway, I'm glad John Watts really fixed the bad cliche situations in the Spider-Man Far From Home, even though Far From Home was okay, but it was a bit cheesy. Like, a lot of cheesy. Anyway, reason I love this movie, not only there's 3 Spider-Mans in this movie, but the action scenes at the ending, you know, where 3 Spider-Man shares a hug, that scene warmed my heart. It feels like Tom Holland really hugging his idols. That makes me want to tear up a lot. Because I want to hug my idols too, like Zack Snyder, Christopher Nolan, like that. Anyway, also, one thing I don't like about the movie, that's MCU Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, as Ben Parker, is not mentioned again, or never seen in the flashback. Or, you know, we don't hear actually Aunt May says that with great power comes great responsibility line, but I wish that was Ben Parker, because that's Ben Parker's line. That makes me want to piss me off. But her death scene was emotional too. Like, I kind of figured out she's going to die, but not gonna be that emotional. That was a punch to the gut moment, like, a lot. And also, I like the movie. Which scene I like? Well, of course, all three Spider-Mans sharing a lot of screens together in the second and third act. Those scenes were amazing. Like, I did not expect. I thought they will be only in the final battle or the third act, but no, they appeared at the middle of the movie. Like, I'm also glad Andrew Garfield didn't share this surprise to anyone. And he always dodging the question of like, I'm not gonna be in it. I didn't get a call. Or, I'm not in it. Just please stop asking me. And Tobey Maguire never get those type of questions. I wonder why. Maybe nobody is... never mind. Overall, movie was really amazing. Like, also, I wish there is a scene in the post-credit scene they can show us the, you know, MCU counterparts of those villains we saw. You know, I picked my actors for the MCU Spider-Man movies as the villains. Matthew McConaughey should be Green Goblin. Either Mark Hamill or Jared Harris, you know, guy from Sherlock Holmes 2, should be Doc Ock. And the guy who played Billy in the Gremlins duology, he should be Sandman. And Crispin Glover from Back to the Future trilogy, he should be the Lizard. And Electro should be Aaron Paul. I hope that's the guy's name, you know, guy from the Breaking Bad, guy who played Jesse. You know, I haven't seen the show, but those five is my pick. Actually, there's 2 picks from Doc Ock. Anyway, but I think Mark Hamill will kill it as Doc Ock. Like I said, Matthew McConaughey should be Green Goblin. And as Harry Osborn, maybe a guy from Dune, even though I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it's pretty good. I'm gonna watch it in soon. You know, the kid Timothy, I can't spell his name, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Main protagonist, also with Zendaya. Zendaya also playing MJ in the MCU. And also the ending in the movie, it makes me want emotional because, well, you know, Doctor Strange makes a spell which is make everybody forgot Peter Parker, especially Ned and MJ happy. All the heroes forgot who he is. That's a punch to the gut moment again. And Daredevil is in it. That's the most amazing part of the movie too. Like, I'm glad they picked Charlie Cox or Cox, I can't spell his last name, to this movie. I'm glad because he's the best Daredevil ever. Not counting Ben Affleck, because he's the Batman. He's still Batman for me. Anyway, take care, buddy, and I hope everybody in there is fine. And I like to share good luck with that person, the next person, and take care, Florida, and you, Tater Master. You're the best friend ever. YouTuber pals!
Alright, that was Mr. Kaan Palat. I'm glad I was able to get you on this, I'm glad I was able to get you on this, sir. It was really cool to have you on, finally. We never collabed before, so this was cool to finally do it. I really like Kaan a lot. I think he's a great channel. Make sure you check him out in the description. He's a really cool YouTube reviewer slash YouTuber. He does a lot of cool stuff. Really glad I got his opinion on this. So, next up, we have a long, frequent collaborator of mine who's appeared in many videos. The Unbreakable Review, X2. And he doesn't do movie reviews anymore. Lance doesn't really, he does mostly reactions now. But he wanted to come back and do No Way Home review with me. And I'm happy he did. He's an incredible editor. I love his content. Here he is, High Heel Knight from HH Movie Reviews. Mr. Lance. Take it away, Mr. Lance.
Hello, I'm High Heel Knight. Thank you very much, Tater Miser, for inviting me to this review of Spider-Man No Way Home. What can be said about this film that's already been said? Well, I've come up with 6 topics. I'm going to focus on 3 things that I didn't like about the movie, 3 things that I loved about the movie, and then finally offer my verdict. Let's get the bad news out of the way. First of all, I was a little disappointed that the Lizard and Sandman, 99% of their screen time was being CGI constructs. Now, maybe it was easier to have the actors just provide voice work. That way they can keep the whole mystery around the production a little more secretive. Or maybe there's some type of logistics with those actors and they couldn't be on set, on screen, and like that. But still, it's just kind of strange and a bit distracting that we have all these other actors present on the set in their real bodies or whatever, or costuming, and then we got these 2 other CGI characters that you know the actors are at least alive, so it's just kind of off-putting. Didn't ruin it for me, just kind of disappointing. And speaking of disappointment, there's the Venom stinger. Now, did I laugh? Did I chuckle? Did I get a little joy out of that scene? Yes. And do I mind that it doesn't make sense that he was there since he has no idea who Peter Parker is and the spoils about everyone who knows Peter Parker, come on down? No, that didn't ruin it for me at all. But the scene was a bait and switch. Venom, Let There Be Carnage, the end of it set up this potential encounter between Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and Tom Hardy, Venom, and now that's not going to happen. Sure, in a future movie, there might be some type of variant and Tom Hardy could reprise his role as some type of Eddie Brock, but this lovable loser that from the previous 2 films, it doesn't seem like they're going to go that route. As wonderful and as fun as that scene was, it was a bait and switch, and by definition, bait and switching is bad. But my biggest complaint is that the first act of the movie should have been its own standalone film. I mean, think about it. Spider-Man is one of the very few characters in all of the MCU that has a secret identity. I'm talking about the movies, the TV shows, the Disney Plus shows. Not only is there a Broadway musical dedicated to the Avengers, but the original team's names are publicly displayed on a mural. Peter Parker is one of very few people trying to run around and live a normal life and a superhero life separately. So just having his identity outed is an amazing story enough. But then you add the fact that he's allegedly killed Mysterio, which took place in London. That's an international incident. So you got a murder mystery, an international incident, the public outing of a premier superhero. That's a movie in and of itself. And yet Matt Murdock comes in, gets off the phone, and is like,
nah, it'll be fine.
It could have been a great standalone movie seeing Peter Parker deal with being public enemy number 1, dealing with the international incident. I know the media is great at whipping the public into a frenzy, but if Bucky Barnes can walk around freely after spending decades as a brainwashed Hydra assassin, then why are legions of protesters hounding Peter Parker for one alleged murder? Why do so many people believe Mysterio? He was around for like, what, 2 weeks or something? Dealing and teaming up potentially with Daredevil, that could have been a movie on its own, and yet it was all cut and done, handled within the first act.
Then everything is wrapped up in a neat little package. Really, I mean that. Sorry if it sounded sarcastic.
Now on to the good stuff, which is obviously having the 3 Spider-Man together on screen, kicking butt, swinging around, having fun, interacting with each other. It was just well worth the wait. And it's funny, on the way home, my father said, oh, that was a nice surprise having the other 2 Spider-Man come in. And I said, yeah, that was a great surprise for you, whereas pretty much 99% of everybody else that was familiar with the movie was pretty much patiently waiting for those other 2 Spider-Man to come on screen. What definitely was a surprise is that they get real meaningful scenes. It was like Amazing Spider-Man 2.5 and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3.5. So yeah, I thought they were just going to pop in for a quick cameo during the climax, but no, they have real scenes together, they interact with each other, they get confused about who's Peter Parker, so it's just wonderful. And not only do we have the great heroes, but the great villains. And yes, is Jamie Foxx's version of Electro not quite the same as in the other movies? Yes. Do I care? No. I like the new. And we have the other 2 villains slipping back into their roles like they were putting on a pair of comfortable shoes. You would have never thought that there's all that time difference from when they perform these roles. So kudos to all these people, the heroes, the villains. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And finally, the thing I liked was MJ. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't find Zoe and Zendaya attractive.
What? What the fuck?
I just don't. And no matter aerial acrobats or slow motion, CGI, sand, dunes, sunsets are going to make me attracted to that young lady. But what's more important is that her character, it was just so abrasive and annoying in the previous two films. Plus, the first movie, the potential love interest, not only was she a better looking young lady, but she was a nice gal. Like, okay, I can see why you wouldn't go for this gal. I don't understand why you wouldn't go for this gal. So in this new movie, she lets her guard down a bit. She's a little more fun. And it's like, okay, I can see why you might want to go for this guy. I can stand being in the same room with this guy for a few minutes. But for those other movies, couldn't stand the character MJ. So improving MJ was definitely a big help. Which brings me to my verdict. This movie was spectacular. It was amazing. It was sensational. It was superior. It was way above Spider-Man. Yes, this is what big tentpole movies are made for. This is why we go to the theater instead of sitting at home on our couches enjoying streaming or regular TV. No, this is why we go to the movie. They pretty much knocked it out of the park. If it weren't for the fact that that first act was so intriguing, it could have been its own film. This would have been perfection. And hey, how wonderful is it that Sony and Marvel, despite their differences, realize this may be our one time to have all these actors available and ready to reprise their roles. Let's get it right the first time. Unlike some studios I could mention, London pretty much start to finish, and the things I do have a minor problem with, like I said, were just minor. I give Spider-Man No Way Home an A- grade. Thank you once again, Terry, for inviting me to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. I had a lot of fun. After movies, I had a lot of fun making this collaboration. Thank you, everyone, for watching our collaboration. And remember, find inspiration everywhere.
And that's the end of that chapter.
Okay, and that was our guest stars. So, section 1 of the video. That was it. It was good to have Kaan and Lance on. I was happy they were able to join. It took a while to get them on, but I got them on. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you, Kaan and Lance, for joining. Your opinions are really awesome. I'm really happy you guys joined. This means a lot to me, this review, and my channel and everything. So, let me just push that back a bit. I was really happy to have you guys come on for that. That was really cool. So, all right. That's it for that part. So, now we move on to my thoughts. Alright, so this is it. Spider-Man No Way Home. What's my thoughts on it? Well, I mean, alright, I have a lot of thoughts to say about Spider-Man No Way Home. But, before I get into it, I just want to say, wow. So, if you guys didn't know, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, as you can tell by my shirt, but he's my favorite superhero. Like, pretty much, he's been my favorite superhero since I was a kid. I mean, from the first Tobey Maguire movies of Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3, to the Amazing Spider-Man movies of Andrew Garfield, to the TV shows, to the games. In fact, I actually have the game. I pulled it out real quick. Yes, I actually have Spider-Man PS4. This was the first ever PS4 game I platinumed on my PS4. Spider-Man means a lot to me, as you could tell. He's been my favorite hero, my favorite superhero, Marvel hero, and pretty much the main reason I even got into Marvel in the first place. I mean, I would have never gotten to Marvel without him. He is pretty much the main reason I love Marvel so much. Spider-Man is amazing. No pun intended. He's spectacular. He's the ultimate. He's amazing. He's Spider-Man. And to me, I adore this guy to an unhealthy degree. I mean, I adore Spider-Man to an unhealthy degree. I've loved all the actors that played him. I just love this dude. He's incredible. Peter Parker, Spider-Man. I love all the Spider-Man. I like Miles Morales and Gwen and all of them too. I like Spider-Ham. I like all the Spider-Man. But Peter Parker especially. I think Peter Parker is, without a doubt, one of the best characters in fiction. So yeah, what a journey it was to get to this movie. I mean, man, I think it was more the journey than anything getting to this movie. I mean, like, bro, I remember when it was first announced, like, the rumors first were coming out, and we got the picture that Jamie Foxx put out with the 3 Spider-Man, and then everybody was freaking out, and then they announced Alfred Molina was coming back, and then we got that teaser trailer. I think the teaser trailer came out, but it was like September of last year or something. it was towards the end of the year we finally got that teaser trailer. And my God, I remember the reactions to that teaser trailer. Like, bro.
The problem is you trying to live two different lives. The longer you do it, the more dangerous it becomes. Be careful what you wish for, Parker.
Hello, Peter.
I wish I recorded my own reaction, because as soon as that last second play, as soon as Alpha Molina appeared from the smoke and said, "Hey, Peter," I yelled louder than I ever did in my entire life, bro. I couldn't fucking believe it. I couldn't believe it was real. I legitimately fucking freaked the hell out. I couldn't believe it, bro. So, yeah, you can tell the hype for this movie was insane. I mean, this was one of the most. I argue this had more hype than Endgame at that rate. It did. The hype for this movie could have been no real. I mean, this was the most hype film to ever been made, and I don't think anything will top the hype for this one movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. The hype for it was insane. Everybody was talking about it. They were talking about it every day. The rumors were crazy. The leaks were crazy. Everything about leading up to Spider-Man No Way Home was crazy. So, that's the question, though. Did the movie deliver on the hype? Did the movie deliver on all that hype? Did the movie really measure up? I like to think it did. Yeah, I like to think it did. Now, is this movie perfect? Is this movie a masterpiece? No, not by any means, and I'm going to get into why that is. But for the most part, Spider-Man No Way Home is arguably one of the best movies to ever be created. And there's a reason I say that. So, okay, I'm going to get into why that is in a sec. But, again, bro, as a Spider-Man fan, as a Marvel fan, as a Sony fan, as a fan of Tom Holland, as a fan of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, as a fan of John Watts, you have to give this man credit. I don't know how you can discredit him after that, bro. Like, as a fan of Kevin Feige, and even Amy Pascal. The fact, like, again, I'm just going to get into the main thing I want to talk about here. The fact that this movie even happened at all, bro. Like, the fact that it even happened at all. Like, you have to realize, they brought back Willem Dafoe, Alpha Molina, Jamie Foxx, Sandman and Lizard's actors. They brought back Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, all in the one movie, bro. All in this movie. Like, you have to realize how big of a deal that is. It would have been big enough to have one of them come back. Like, I mean, it was a big deal to have J. Jonah Jameson's actor come back alone. Like, bro, they brought back everybody. Like, it's just insane to me, bro. It's just insane to me. Like, again, this idea for this movie was only ever meant to be a fan idea, a fan concept. It was never meant to be an actual movie. And Sony and MC and Marvel Studios, they actually decided to make it a real movie, bro. They actually sat down, talked it out, and said, "That's a great idea. Let's make it a real movie." Like, they actually did it, bro. They actually went the extra mile. It reminds me of the time when Sonic the Hedgehog, bro. It reminds me of that. Like, because again, there was so much criticism that old Sonic the time was getting. Paramount took the time out, listened to the fans, and actually made Sonic redesign. And you can't discredit them for that. The fact
that they went the extra mile to actually redesign Sonic and make him look good for the movie.
You can't really discredit them for that. Again, the fact that they went the extra mile, bro. They did not have to do that. Like, that's just crazy to me. Like, bro. It's just crazy to me. I mean, it's just crazy to me, bro. Like, they actually went the extra mile to make that movie. Like, to make Spider-Man No Way Home actually happen. Again, like, is the movie perfect? No. It's not a masterpiece. I still think there's 4 MCU movies I think that are better. I think Avengers Endgame is my favorite. Then it would go Black Panther. Then it would go Guardians 2. Then it would go to the Avengers, and then this one. Avengers is slightly better. They're neck and neck for me, bro. The Avengers 1 and this one are neck and neck for me. Like, that's just how amazing No Way Home to me was. Like, the fact that I'm comparing it to the Avengers. I mean, bro, this pretty much was the crossover event like the Avengers. You have to realize, they brought back 2 generations of Spider-Man back into this film. That's just insane to me, bro. How about the actual movie, though? What about the story and the writing and directing and all that? Well, I do think the movie itself is really amazing. Like, alright, so it starts out, I mean, a lot of people, what Lance was saying with the first hour is a different movie. I kind of agree with that. I do think the first act of the movie is a lot different than the second and third act, for sure. I mean, it's basically about the aftermath of Far From Home, where his identity got revealed, and he's dealing with all those problems. I do think it's a really interesting part of the movie. Now, okay, here's one of the big things. Daredevil actually showed up. I knew Daredevil was gonna show up, but it was still cool to see Charlie Cox actually come back, and for Kingpin to come back in Hawkeye. I think that was really cool, like wonderfully cool. In fact, it was quite a sight to see, and I always love rewatching that part. It's so cool, and I'm hoping Charlie Cox continues to appear in Daredevil stuff. I mean, in MCU stuff. Sorry. So yeah, I mean, basically what happens is he wants to erase the memories of everybody because he's sad because his friends can't get into college now because of his status. So now he has to go to Doctor Strange and ask him to erase everybody's memory. Unfortunately, there's a backfire, and he opens the multiverse on accident. So yeah, whoops. And so the villains from the other movies come in. Now, why the specific movies? Why the specific characters? I don't know, fan service, but it was cool to see them nonetheless. So yeah. Anyway, okay, so what are my positives for the movie? Positives. Well, I mean, okay, from a writing standpoint, I really applaud this movie. The fact is how ambitious this film was. You were bringing back all these characters. You were bringing back all these concepts. You were crossing over elements from all these old movies into one movie. So the fact that I even pulled it off is just impressive to me, bro. Like the writing from when the villains are conversating to when Toby and Andrew are on screen to when Aunt May dies. I mean, every single story element, every single writing thing is pretty much done to a T, bro. It's done explicitly well. It's done really well. I don't really know what to say other than that. Like it's easily the best written of the three Tom Holland movies. You really can't argue that. I mean, it's brilliantly written. I forget who wrote it. Who wrote? Yeah, it's Chris McKenna and Eric Summers. Okay, they're pretty good writers. I'm not, again, this is easily their best script. I mean, without question. I think it's remarkable. Story-wise, this is easily the best of the three movies of Tom Holland's trilogy, of John Watts' trilogy. I think John Watts is done after this. I think this is the last Spider-Man. Spider-Man No Way Home is a treasure. Again, I can't stress it enough. Actually seeing the three Spider-Man in a movie was just kind of unbelievable. It was kind of unreal. It was kind of like a dream come true. It's like, it was surreal to watch. You couldn't believe it was real, bro. Like, again, I can't stress that enough. Just the fact this movie even exists is insane to me, bro. The fact it even exists at all is insane to me. But, again, I love the part with Tobey Maguire and Doc Ock. That part was sweet. Doc Ock getting... Again, all the villain parts were really good. I love Jamie Foxx in this. He was pretty funny. I like Lizard. He served a great purpose. I love Sandman. I know a lot of people like to critique Sandman in this. And, well, yeah, I get Sandman is probably the weakest part. I don't think he was the worst part. I think he's okay. I definitely think he needed more screen time development in this. It definitely feels like they just kind of used him as an underpass. Same with Lizard. But Lizard was always kind of an other whatever character. He was always kind of whatever. So I didn't really care about him too much. But I can understand the Sandman complaints. And yeah, he was underutilized. Whatever. I mean, I thought he was fine. I mean, he wasn't really a big deal. Green Goblin and Doc Ock were the big deal. So yeah, they did. Green Goblin was probably the best villain in this movie, regardless. Like, Green Goblin was... Okay, this is where I get into some negatives. I do think Green Goblin should have been used more. He has great scenes, and he's arguably the best villain in this movie. But I do think he definitely needed more time. Like, I do think he should have fought Spider-Man on the bridge, and I do think there should have been more to the ending scene with him. Green Goblin was pretty much the main villain of this movie, in a sense. Like, he definitely was, you know. And I'm glad they didn't try to force a sixth villain out of nowhere, because Green Goblin was enough. Like, they didn't really need a sixth villain. Although I do think Green Goblin should have had more time. Like, when Willem Dafoe performs, he's freaking amazing. I love Willem Dafoe, and he did a great job in this movie. But, again, my only negative for Green Goblin is I just wish there was more with them. There was only, like, 3 major scenes, and that was it. I'm like, okay. Okay, that was cool, but I don't know, man. Hey, it's fine. That's my only nitpicks for this. Yeah, I mean, Tom Holland, this is arguably his best performance of any movie. Like, Tom Holland absolutely slaughtered this. He absolutely demolished this movie. Like, this was his movie, and he just killed it. This is way better than his performance in all the Spider movies before this. Like, you actually felt for him. He actually felt like Peter Parker. And I'm not dissing Homecoming and Far From Home, but again, he wasn't really quite Peter Parker quite yet. Like, he didn't really go through the trauma. He didn't really go through the stuff like Andrew and Toby did. But in this movie, he felt like Peter Parker. Like, he acted like him. It was amazing. Like, holy shit, he did it. Anyway, but I also like Zendaya's Michelle Jones in this. Zendaya did a great job acting. I loved her relationship with Peter. I thought Ned, played by Jacob Bartlow. Yeah, Ned's pretty great. I like him as a character. Jacob did a great job playing him. Who else? Okay, Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange. Obviously, he's great. I do think Doctor Strange, I'm glad he wasn't a huge focus in this. Like, to be honest, I'm glad, because this is a Spider-Man movie, not a Doctor Strange movie. So I'm glad he was more of a background character, if anything, like a supporting background character. He wasn't too involved in the movie, and I'm glad, because, again, a lot of people are complaining, why is Doctor Strange in the fucking movie? Why is Doctor Strange in the fucking movie? I'm like, because he's serving a purpose, bro. He serves a narrative purpose. He's not just there for no reason. But again, he wasn't super involved in the movie. He was more focused on the Spider-Man, which is good. I'm glad they didn't focus too much on him. It's not a Doctor Strange movie, it's a Spider-Man movie. So I'm glad that they didn't, because that was one of the complaints with, I mean, even when Homecoming, bro, I didn't even get the Iron Man complaint. I'm like, bro, Iron Man's not even in Homecoming that much. Now, I get the Far From Home complaints, because the whole movie's about Iron Man, basically, so I understand the Far From Home complaints. But come on, bro, Doctor Strange was barely in this one, so, like, come on. He was, like, only, what, 2-3 scenes? That was it. Like, a few quick scenes. That was it. He wasn't even in it. I think on a one-on-one fight, Doctor Strange would win, but Spider-Man got outsmarted him, I guess, so, okay, whatever. So, what else happened? I don't know, guys. I just think No Way Home's just one of those movies that I'm just gonna rewatch forever. It's truly a remarkable film. I mean, beginning to end, the film's remarkable. You really can't deny it. It's remarkable. I mean, so what are my negatives for the movie? I mean, there's tons of positives from the. Okay, you know what, the negatives I'll say is that the visuals could have been. I get it. They had to rush the production a bit, so the visuals of Spider-Man and the suits and the action did lack a bit. I mean, that's the thing. When you're working in 2020, they had to rush. They had to try to hurry up and make the movie, and it was rushed because it was 2020 and COVID. So I get why the visuals were kind of sucky. But again, bro, that's really a nitpick. Because again, who cares? I mean, the movie's freaking awesome. Who cares, like, bro? Really, all the negatives I come up with this movie are just nitpicks. I mean, the movie's still entertaining as hell and still great to watch. I really don't care. I guess the whole death scene with Aunt May, like look, I like Aunt May in this trilogy. But again, her death scene didn't really emotionally impact me, I guess, as much as I thought it would. I mean, it was sad, but I wasn't like bawling my eyes, like, oh my god, it's so sad. I don't know. I guess I'm just an asshole for not getting that sad about seeing it. I mean, good for you if you guys cried at that. I just didn't really find it all that sad, I guess. I don't know. I mean, again, it was sad. I guess I wasn't super connected with her Aunt May, her version of the character, which again is fine. I mean, that's just my opinion. If you guys cried at that part, okay. But I guess another negative is the music. Like, again, the music was really good in this, but I do feel that Michael was holding back a bit. There was parts they played the old themes, and those parts were great. But again, they didn't focus on the old themes too much, which I'm kind of annoyed. Like, bro, I was looking forward to the soundtrack, and we didn't get a lot of it. It's like, bro, like we should have got more of the old themes. Like, where the frick was the Tom Holland and where was the freaking Andrew and Toby themes, bro? Like, I don't know. Again, they played them a little bit, but Michael didn't play them a lot, which. I don't know how to feel about that. I'm just kind of like, bruh, why was the music not in it too much? It's whatever. Also, that part where Tommy gets stabbed, that was kind of a little weird. I'm like, bro, why would you just have him be stabbed and then a few minutes later just says, oh, I've been stabbed before? Like, as a joke. Like, bro, they kind of just did that as shock value, which is whatever. I don't know. That was weird to me. Oh, okay, another scene we got to talk about is, you know what scene?
Are you okay? Yeah. Okay. Are you okay?
Yeah, the part where Andrew saves MJ. This was theorized that this was going to happen in the movie like months ago, before the movie came out. Like, he was going to say, because once the second trailer came out, people said that. I'm like, what if Andrew saves MJ? Like, he redeems himself. What if he saves himself? And I'm like, that would be awesome. Are they going to do it? And they actually did it. And I honestly think that was that pretty much might have been my favorite scene of the movie, was when Andrew saves MJ, to be honest. Like, bro, Andrew was arguably the best actor in this film, bro. Like, arguably, he had the best part of this movie. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man in this movie was just, he was such a joy to watch, bro. Like, for real. I honestly think he just killed it, knocked it out of the park, bro. All his lines, all his acting in this. everything. I mean, Andrew Garfield's a phenomenal actor and a phenomenal Spider-Man, but again, bro, it was so emotional to watch him actually save MJ in the movie. It was so cool. I'm happy he got his redemption arc there. That was really dope. Okay, I do think Green Goblin, like I said, I already said Green Goblin should have been more in it, but I do love the final fight between Tom and Green Goblin. That was really cool. I don't know, I just feel like the movie should have been 3 hours. If the movie was 3 hours, made some scenes longer, added a few more things, this could have been like a 10 out of 10 movie, bro. Like, this could have been a masterpiece movie. But I do feel it was short. It didn't feel long enough considering the scope of it. Like, it should have been Endgame length, bro. It should have been at least 3 hours. Like, 2.5 hours is long, but this, for a movie of this caliber, it should have been 3 hours. I'm just saying, it should have been 3 hours. And people would have wanted to see it for a 3-hour movie for Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, come on, bro. It doesn't matter. You should have made 3 hours, but anyway, that's just my opinion. If you liked it as it is, fine. But again, I think it should have been 3 hours. There was a lot more they could have done. But, what else? Oh yeah, that whole scene with, I'll try to play the clip.
Tragedy. What else can I call it? What more need be said? The damage, the destruction. You saw it with your own eyes. When will people wake up and realize that everywhere Spider-Man goes, chaos and calamity ensue? Everything Spider-Man touches comes to ruin. And we, the innocents, are left to pick up the pieces. J. Jonah Jameson reporting. Good night, and God help us all.
With the scene with him in the rain, and he's looking at J. Jonah Jameson, that was such a beautiful. That was honestly the best visual of the movie. That visual was, man, stunning to look at. Like, that was beautiful and really emotional, and really impactful. I also like the visual of Toby and Andrew. They're standing on top of the statue and they're looking down. That was really cool. I love I love them in the science. That whole science lab scene was really cool. What other stuff happened? I like the whole scene where Spider-Man fights Dr. Ock on the bridge. That was really cool. The whole the whole fight scene between Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and freaking Green Goblin was epic. I mean, shit, that shit went hard as hell. Literally, I mean, damn, bro. That was one of the best fights in the MCU. What else? Did I cover everything? I mean, that must have been it, right? Okay, the ending scene. I gotta cover the ending scene. So, okay. So the final scene where everybody gets their memories erased to save. That's how Tom saves the universe. He reverses the spell, has everybody's memories erased of him, and he goes to the diner shop and he talks to Zendaya. A really emotional scene between him and them and Ned and MJ. That was really, really hard to watch. And happy walking up to the gravestone with him and Aunt May's grave. All right, and then the last scene. So I don't know. You've already watched the movie, but again, that last scene. Wow, he finally gets the suit. He finally gets the classic suit on. Like, that was just the most baller thing. That was the most beautiful ending they could have done. Like, bro, I was hoping they'd do that, and they actually did. Again, this movie did everything I wanted. It did everything I hoped it would do. It did it. Like, bro, it actually did everything I hoped it would do. And it's hard to get movies that do that. Again, movies like Ghostbusters Afterlife and Spider-Man No Way Home only come once in the blue moon, bro. Where they actually do what you wanted them to do. Like, they actually exist. Like, they're actually real. Bro, that's just crazy. Both Afterlife, I think Afterlife and Spider-Man No Way Home are both incredible movies in different reasons. I think they both are just remarkable. The fact they both even exist, like, bro. Especially No Way Home. I mean, No Way Home is just an epic movie. Probably my favorite of last year. I mean, that and the Hilda movie, and I think No Way Home, Hilda movie, and it was the Hilda movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad. Those were the three best movies. I don't know which one I like the most. I probably have to go with Spider-Man No Way Home because it's just an epic movie. But again, this movie is by no means perfect. But again, who really cares, bro? Like, even if the movie's not a masterpiece, who cares? The fact it even exists, it's just crazy to me. Like, bro, I love rewatching, and I'm gonna rewatch it for many years to come. I love Spider-Man. I think this movie is just wonderful. It's John Watts' best movie. I don't think he's ever gonna top it. Like, this is a movie for the ages, bro. Spider-Man No Way Home is just incredible, and I'm happy it even exists. Like, bro. Again, I'm just happy for Sony. This is like they went the extra mile, bro. Everything about Spider-Man No Way Home is just amazing. Is there problems? Yes. There's slight nitpicks. There's slight problems. But even with the slight flaws in this gem of a movie, who really cares, bro? It's amazing. It's incredible. It's Spider-Man No Way Home. And that's all I gotta say, really. I mean, I pretty much summed up my thoughts for this. Like, I don't really know if there's much more to say. I mean, I've already gone on for 20-something minutes talking about this, bro. I don't really think I need to say more. It's just, it's insane. It's unbelievable. It's spectacular. It's Spider-Man No Way Home. Like, bro. Again, I just impressed all the way through. It's just, again, even with the small problems I listed, I really don't really care, bro. Like, this is easily, if I had to rank it with the other Spider-Man movies, I'd say this is not quite as good as Spider-Man 2 and not quite as good as Spider-Verse, but this is my third favorite Spider-Man movie overall. Like, it's remarkable, bro. The fact it even exists. Again, when I think the third act of this movie alone is the best MCU we've ever gotten. The last hour of this movie, the last part, when Tobey and Andrew show up, the rest of the movie is just perfection, bro. To me, everything else after that is just perfection. Like, as soon as they show up, bro. Like, that entire third act. I'd argue the third act of No Way Home is better than the third act of Avengers Endgame. Maybe. I mean, maybe. They're close. But again, the entire end of this movie is perfect. Like, everything from the third act is perfect to me. Even the parts with Green Goblin that I wish expanded on. Like, there's a couple things they could have expanded on in the third act. But for the most part, it was just remarkable to even see it, bro. Like, to even see them together. It was, and you can see I got the shirt, but again, just wow. And I hope Andrew Garfield gets some more time to shine. I hope he gets the Amazing Spider-Man 3, because there's more you can do with his character. I hope he gets more time to shine. He's a great actor, great Spider-Man, and I hope he gets more time to shine. Overall, guys, I'm gonna go Spider-Man No Way Home a 9.6 out of 10. It's not perfect by any means, but man, bro, I won't lie. This movie is just badass to the core. Like, it's badass to the core. Beginning to end, great writing, great visuals, great action, great freaking cinematography, great scenes, great everything, really. I mean, again, this is easy. Who argues this ain't the best John Watts Spider-Man movie? Like, who argues this isn't one of the best MCU movies? This is Spider-Man No Way Home, dude. Like, come on, man. Anyway. Yeah, like I said, even with my small nitpicks, I still love this movie to death. It's not as good as my top 4 MCU, and it's not as good as Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Verse, obviously, but it is a remarkable movie nonetheless. So, that's all I really got to say about it. I had a lot to say there. So, yeah. It means a lot to me. I love Spider-Man to death, and I'm happy he got this epic fan servicey epic movie. That's just beautiful fan service, beautiful tribute, beautiful everything. It's beautiful. Alright, that ends section 2 of the video, my thoughts. So now we go on to section 3, which is, moving forward. So, yeah. So where do we go forward now that we have No Way Home? I mean, that's the thing. This movie definitely opened a lot of doors, for possibilities for future movies. Okay, so, again, bro, let me reiterate how big of a deal this is. So, I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home is going to go down in history as a movie that did the impossible. Like, they actually brought actors from previous iterations of the character, bro. I don't think people understand how big of a deal that is. You know, like, think of the possibilities now, bro. And if this movie exists, the fact this movie is real opened up so many more avenues, bro. Like, think about what they can do now. They can bring back Ghost Rider, Nicolas Cage. They can bring back characters. I mean, think about it. Daredevil showed up. They can bring back any character for any TV show they want, bro. Like, they can bring back every single Netflix character. They can bring back all the Inhumans. Well, maybe not all of them. They can bring back all the freaking characters from every show they've made. They could bring back Legion. Like, they could bring back the X-Men. They could bring back the Incredible Hulk actors, bro. And especially, this is the most epic thing I hope they do, is that they bring back Wesley Snipes to cameo in the Blade movie. Again, the possibilities are endless now, bro. The fact that they brought the fact that they brought Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield back at all, it's just insane to me. Like, you have to realize how big of a deal that is. Like, bro, the possibilities are endless now. There's no limit to what they can do. The Spider-Man No Way Home, again, let me reiterate, Spider-Man No Way Home was never meant to be an actual movie. It was always meant to be a fan idea. And they did it. Like, again, I can't reiterate how freaking insane that is to me, bro. Like, they actually made it. So now that it's out there, there's nothing they can't do. Because, again, there's a multiverse now. So, again, the multiverse opens up so many more avenues, bro. There's so much more they can do that they couldn't do before. I mean, there's already Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness coming out with tons of cameos. Supposedly Tom Cruise is supposed to show up as Iron Man. I don't know if that's true or not. Don't quote me on that. But that is the rumor. So, again, bro, there's so many more avenues that they have now that this movie is real. Again, I have to reiterate. Bro. Like, this movie's crazy. It's just crazy. Yeah, I mean, the movie's crazy. I really can't stress enough. This movie's crazy. Like, bro, movie's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, that's just my theories of what they could do next. I mean, again, the possibilities are endless, bro. Like, Thor, I mean, I don't even know what to predict anymore. Like, I don't even know. Like, bro, what's gonna happen? Like, bro, there's so much more they can do now. Like, they could bring back the Fantastic Four actors for a scene. They could, bro. Anyway, I'm just saying, bro, the multiverse, again, we can get Amazing Spider-Man 3, which is just insane to me. We might actually get Amazing Spider-Man 3 now, bro. We might actually get it. That's crazy to me. Like, what if we actually get that movie? I doubt it, because Mark might not come back. But again, the possibilities are endless now, bro, of what they can do now. Like, it's crazy to me. I don't know. Comment down below what you guys think they're going to do for the next MCU Sony movies. What do you think they're going to do? Because honestly, Spider-Man No Way Home is just a remarkable film. The fact that it even existed, bro. It was such a beautiful tribute, such a beautiful fan-servicey, awe-dropping, awe-inspiring movie to me. Like, inspirational in a sense, because it makes me love to be a filmmaker. It made me love movies again. And that's the same with Ghostbusters Afterlife. These two movies, those were my two favorite movies of last year. And yes, while I do think the Hilda movie, like, there's movies I think that are better than Afterlife. I think Hilda and Suicide Squad, there's ones that I found that were better. But again, Afterlife and Spider-Man No Way Home, both Sony movies. Sony really has become, like, they're my favorite company for many reasons. Maybe a movie studio too. But Sony really shows that they really care about the fans, bro. They really actually care. They actually give a fuck. They actually let creators do what they want to do. It's crazy to me. I mean, my best friend Brian's favorite studio is actually Paramount, not Sony. But to me, Sony is always going to be my favorite company for many reasons. Not only just because they own Spider-Man, but yeah. So I've been, bro. I can't stress it enough. No Way Home. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Truly. It's remarkable. It's beautiful. I love it. And I'm excited to see what the MCU and Sony does from this point on. It's going to be a wild ride. I mean, we can get a 3 Hulk movie. We can get a 3 Ghost Rider movie with Norman Reedus and Gabriel Luna and Nicolas Cage. We could get a freaking... Bro, the possibilities are endless. Like, we could get anything now. The possibilities are endless. Like, what are they going to do next? Well, I do think, again, Endgame is my favorite Marvel movie, my favorite superhero movie, but again, No Way Home is definitely, possibly, this and Spider-Man 2 are the best live-action Spider-Man movies. Like, now, I don't think anything's going to top Spider-Verse. Maybe Across the Spider-Verse will top Into the Spider-Verse, but again, as it stands, Into the Spider-Verse is going to be the... Into the Spider-Verse is Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know what to tell you, it's Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, look, nothing beats that for me. Into the Spider-Verse is one of the best movies, like, best animated movies. It's a masterpiece, 10 out of 10. It's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. No offense to No Way Home and Spider-Man 2. Come on. It wasn't going to beat that. As good as this movie is, I think this movie is epic and beautiful. But it's not Spider-Man Spider-Verse. Sorry to say, it just ain't. But again, for a fan-servicey movie, there's problems, there's nitpicks, there's problems with the visuals and the special effects, there's problems with a couple story elements. There's a problem with a few of the jokes, but again, who cares? The movie's still epic. I don't know. The movie's still bomb. And I'm happy it exists. It's amazing. So yeah, I think that's all I really gotta say about the movie, guys. About movie 4. That's everything. Again, thank you, Kaan, and Lance for joining me on this journey, on this epic review. Sorry, my fans, for this review coming out so late. I know it took a long time, but I hope it was worth the wait. I had a lot to say. I had to get the guest stars on. This was quite a video to make. It's gonna take a lot of editing, probably. It's a long video, so it's gonna take a while for me to edit it. I'm excited to work on it, and I'm excited to have it out for you guys. I'm really happy to get that. I love Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't know what it is. Everything I have to say? I think that's pretty much it. That's it, guys. Yeah. I think I covered every single thing. Alright, guys. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever Spider-Man. Yep. See y'all around. The Tatummeister. See y'all around. The Tatummeister signing out.